How's it going, Johnny? Good morning. Copy the YouTube link? Yes, I did. Think that's the right thing? Yeah. Right, did I move this far enough out? Yeah. Nope, not quite. Okay, there we go. Ooh, too small. All right, let me put this at. That's where I can see him. I think we are almost ready. All right, good morning to everyone. Ooh. All right, there we are. Welcome. Thank you to anybody who's watching. If you are new and you don't know what this is, my name's Tim. I go by Foamy Guy on GitHub and Discord, and I am typically working on CircuitPython stuff on this stream. If you don't know what that is, you can learn more at circuitpython.org. This is basically an implementation of Python that runs on these tiny computers that are called microcontrollers. Most typically, these will plug into your computer, show up like a thumb drive, and then you can edit a Python code file on that drive. And the microcontroller, the computer that's in these little chips, will actually interpret and execute that Python code for you. Lots of these devices have what are called I/O pins all along the sides here, where you can connect up other things, other electronical bits, lights and beepers and buzzers and buttons and sensors and all kinds of things. Different microcontrollers come in different shapes and sizes and different stuff built in, but kind of the common thread for almost 500 of the ones on this page is that they all can run CircuitPython. Let's see here. Take this down just a tad. And let's see. Thank you as always. Whoop, that's not where we're going. Thank you as always to Adafruit, who designs and manufactures some of these microcontrollers, as well as all sorts of other things that you can kind of connect up and do with your microcontrollers. They're the ones who provide the financial support for CircuitPython by paying the folks who work on it, myself included. So thank you to them. Thank you to everybody who purchases hardware from them. Today, we are jumping in on Circup, which I thought I had pulled up before, but I guess I navigated away from it. So I started this work off stream, so there's no, there's no prequel to this one if you're interested in this work. Unfortunately, the best you can do is really just go back through the changes in the PR. There's no video or anything to go with it, but I will be trying to push it the rest of the way over the line today on the stream. And that is going to involve finishing up some refactoring, doing a couple things I think that Scott mentioned, trying to fix a couple more of the issues that I had in mind. So this is inside Circup. If you don't know, Circup is a command line utility that allows you to install libraries on your CircuitPython device, as well as update libraries. I think the name Circup is for update. So originally imagined as a way to update libraries, but it can install them, it can uninstall them, it can list them, it can do a couple other things. It's a little bit like pip, but for your microcontroller. I did some work on this not too long ago to finish up someone else's work that added support for web workflow. And while the review for that one was in progress, as mentioned, it'd be nice to do some more refactoring, which I definitely agreed with, because this file was, or this library, I should say, was all just one giant initpy file that was thousands of lines. So, well, with web workflow, it got refactored a little bit into some backend classes as well, but it was still pretty unwieldy. So this refactoring is kind of the result of that, trying to just break Circup into some more manageable sized chunks that make sense, rather than just having everything in one big file. Good morning, DJ Devin. Got my coffee as well. Let's see. I don't know what temperature it is. We'll see. Nice, perfect drinking temperature. Yeah, so I know one thing that I'll probably end up be doing a bunch today is the tests. I think right now the tests are probably almost all failing. And another thing is the actual testing on actual devices, which I have not done very much of since I did the refactor. Drink coffee in BitLooney's cup. BitLooney's cup. I'm not familiar with them. I'll have to check that out, though. BitLooney, is that I assume that's like a content creator or something? Streamer or video type thing? All of Circup was one file. It was before, yeah, it was all init, and then with web workflow, it became a couple of files with the backends, but now it will be a lot more. I think it's 5 or 6 or something at this point. All right, so where do we want to start? I think let's do some actual like testing on device, because the only real testing on device I've done is Circup list at this point. I look at it as kind of one of the more easy things to do, so I kind of have been using that as a test before I get to install and uninstall. Nice. BitLooney, I'll check them out. Part of the greater maker community, familiar with them too. Love this LED ping pong ball wall matrix. Okay, I think I remember that. I think I remember the big wall with the ping pong balls and LEDs inside. So if that was the person that made, I guess, whichever one of those got big or viral or whatever at one point, then I may have seen that. All right, so I have this. Yeah, I have this set up in this virtual environment that I'm in with, I did a pip install E on my kind of working copy here, so whenever I run like Circup whatever, it's going to be referencing my edited copy here. And actually, just to like make absolutely certain of that, what I'm about to just do is go and drop an extra thing in here, like maybe main will just say print inside main modified. Maybe should we do click echo? I'm not entirely certain the differences. Okay, but let's just make sure if we go like help, we should not see that, because I guess it didn't go inside main. Let's try list, circuit list. There we go. Okay. Okay, so we're definitely in our modified one here, and this will just change like live. If I just say, you know, hello, breakfast, or we'll say coffee streamers, then the next time I run it, it will say that. Hello, coffee streamers. Okay, so we can just edit this and then run the stuff here, and it will be always on the latest version. And that's pip install E that did that for me, which is super handy while you're working on this. All right, so Circup list did work. You know what? One thing actually I want to remember to do. I'm gonna make a issue for it. They're like force or something. Force? No. Yeah. Install T. Installs Blinka and core modules. Install -T. I don't know what -T is. Okay. I don't see what I'm looking for, which is there should be a way to force, like I mean, I have no idea what versions all of these things are, but... Oh, okay, well, here you go, in fact. So, Adafruit RSA on my device, 1.2.19, but the latest release, 1.2.21. But if I just go Circup install Adafruit RSA, it just says already installed. Doesn't install it for me. And I think if I could do maybe Circup update, but I'm pretty sure Circup update doesn't target individual things. So I think what we should have is Circup install Adafruit RSA, and then I don't know if it needs to be here or if it needs to be out here or whatever, but I'm thinking -F or -- force, and then it will do it even if it's already installed. Because it's kind of awkward to have to uninstall it first, I think. Let's see. Let's see. Allow some way to force install. Well, I mean, I guess alternatively, Circup update. Yeah, or perhaps alternatively, Circup update could be made to support a single library as an argument to update just one instead of all of them. Basically, I want a way to update one thing. In my mind, that's install force, but really if update target one thing, if that worked, that would be the same functionality, really. So I'll make this issue and we will try to do this while we're working on it. Upgrade? We could try upgrade. That's true, we made a ping pong ball shooter controllable by YouTube live chat. Dang, managed to hit him in the head. How about -- upgrade on more? Upgrade it. Maybe upgrade, I don't know about the only thing that I shy away from upgrade for is because we already have update, and then it feels weird to have update and upgrade, and like, which one does what? So then maybe the answer is that update should just have a target rather than install force. Didn't know unexpected maker as YouTube controllable RC tank. Dang. Love stuff like that. It's amazing what people can do with APIs. Yeah, totally. Okay, but the good news is that some of this stuff was actually just working. So like, let's keep doing some testing here. Circup I'm gonna do uninstall Adafruit RSA. You know, another thing I don't believe we have is installing individual versions, which would be kind of cool. Okay, I don't think you can do install Adafruit RSA and then like pip it would be like equals, right? Was it 1.2.19 from before? Yeah, it doesn't work like that. But I think that's because it's getting the bundle, right? The bundle doesn't have old versions. Maybe we could reach out to GitHub assets on the release or something. Anyway, that's probably a different feature request anyway. Uninstall worked though, so that's good. I apparently have not broken uninstall. my refactoring. We'll test web workflow as well in a little bit, but I'm going to do USB first, I think, because it's a little bit more basic. All right. Install looks like it's working good. So yeah, I think update, Circup update. So this one, I guess, is like what I should be using. It's just that it, well, A, I broke it with my refactoring, and B, it goes through the entire list of all the libraries. And like, whenever I'm working on the one thing I'm working on, I don't necessarily want to click through the whole list of libraries. But like, I want to update the one that I'm working on. Where'd we? So verbose, this is a thing I moved. So this used to be load entry point, Circup. What does that even mean? I don't even know what that means. Load entry point. Where are we at here? Where are have been Circup? So, okay, this is like compiled or something. This is like what we actually execute. That's not part of our code, though. That's weird because it has stuff that's not in here. Like in here, it's just main and nothing else. Anyway, I guess that click is probably adding stuff or something. So verbose, it used to be a global argument. I mean, a global variable. And it no longer is. What did I do in the other one? I solved this for a different place, I believe. I think I even said something. CPY. So these two were global variables. Okay, I ended up just checking for dash dash verbose. That's right. Yeah. Okay. We'll do the same thing for this. So basically, like, the way that the code used to work is inside main or somewhere, it would check for that dash dash verbose, just split across the line here, so it makes it hard to see, but it would check for that dash dash verbose in your arguments, and then if you had it, it would set this global variable, verbose shouty, as a Boolean to true, and then other parts of the code would reference that global variable to decide whether we're in verbose mode or not. I have been getting away from the global variable altogether, so we're not doing that anymore. It's not set, it doesn't exist anymore, so we need another way to know if we're in verbose mode. The only way that I came up with, which did strike me as weird, like I put in the comment on the GitHub, is we can just check the arguments ourselves. I was totally expecting to find like a, click.args or something or whatever, and then it would be in there, but I swung out on that. I came up empty. So, but what we can do is, yield sys.argv. We can just say if verbose, as long as we can spell it right, if verbose in sys.argv, then we do our verbose stuff. How's it going, C. Grover? Good morning. After watching your video on board specific stubs, it inspired me to create a way to automate pip. I saw that. Yeah, that's pretty sweet. Oh, you got it playgrounded up even as well now. Nice. Yeah, I should set something up like that. Keep it updated. You know what else would be another kind of cool thing is like if somebody made, it doesn't have to be me, if anybody made like a watcher that watches whenever your CircuitPython device gets plugged in, and then whenever it recognizes a CircuitPython device got plugged in, it could look in boot out and then call the set board or whatever it's called to set the board equal to the one that got plugged in. That way your stubs would be like always set to whatever device is plugged in. Nice. And good old task. I have not looked at a Windows task scheduler in I'm going to take a guess and say like 6 or 7 years. It's not never, but it has been a very long time. Yeah, that's cool. It's awesome. I should get it set up with cron on my computer. Spelled verbose. Still spelled. Yeah, you're right. Thank you. And again. And my thing even underlines it for me. So like, look at that. And I said about spelling it wrong. Yeah, I don't know. Spelling's not my strong suit. Thank you. All right. Yeah. So the way this works is like, you know, hey, we found 8 modules that need updating. You know, please indicate which ones you want to update. But the way you indicate is like yes, no with all of them. So, you know, if you do just want to update one, then it's like, you know, you're clicking no on 7 of them, and you're clicking yes on 1 of them. But it'd be cool if you could just pass in the names after update, and then it would just choose them correctly. Okay, let's let it do one. Let's let it do WizNet. WizNet? Yeah, that's fine, because this doesn't have pins on it, which means I never could use WizNet anyway. It did just reboot, though, so that's interesting. See any crash or anything? Just oh, it's actually I think it's in safe mode. Yeah, it's in safe mode because internal watchdog expired. What are we on for version here? Kind of a dream goal. Have the board just pull everything it needs. Yeah, this would. I mean, it would still be. It would rely on that stuff on your computer running, but it could once you get it set up, it could be like pretty much. Not transparent. It's not the word I'm looking for, but just like hands off, basically, like just drive itself. Yeah, I don't know how we safe moded. Got some weirdness here. Is that? You do have a boot, I guess. Because import storage doesn't actually do anything, though. That's kind of weird, right? Wonder what that's about. We are on 9.0. Let's go ahead and update. Oh, I already have downloads open down here. This is a Feather S3 TFT. Should I usually go TFT? I don't have the camera set up today because there's not going to really be anything to see. All the action's in the terminal pretty much. The only thing I'm really using the device for here is to interact with Circup. Working on libraries and it overwrites your custom libraries. That would be bad. Well, no, it's not going to override any code. It's not going to override anything other than the board that your stubs is set to. The thing I'm imagining. Or you're talking about if it just updated, or okay, I see. You're saying like if you just plugged it in and it kept itself up to date. I think I'm following now. I missed a link there at first. Okay, there we go. So that's 9.3 now. Hopefully we won't get hard faults. It just said due to watchdog. It didn't say memory. I don't really know what that means due to watchdog though. I guess it means something took too long and the watchdog didn't have time to do its thing or whatever. Let's just do the last one, which is WizNet. I mean, I guess we should do one of these. No, let's do that one, yes. Okay, WizNet. Checking updated modules for missing requirements. Doesn't seem like it worked. Let's see if it comes up in the list again. It says 7 this time, actually, so think it did it. It just didn't print right. Interesting. I mean, I guess like it's saying checking one updated modules for missing requirements. So it's saying like we updated it and now we're checking for missing requirements and then we're ready to install empty list because we didn't find any missing requirements. Okay. And it does say updated, so it's like it does output everything. Yeah, okay. I just kind of misinterpreted it the first time. It might be nice. It might be nice to have an if statement here that says like if it's an empty list, change the wording to just say nothing, nothing needed or something like that, but it's not the end of the world either way. Okay, so I have done so far uninstall, install, update, update both with and without actual clicking yes, list. What else is there? We need to do web workflow for sure still, but what is there still? I should use help, right? Okay, version, did I do that? Circup -- version? I mean, that shouldn't change, I don't think, so good there, Circup. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know Circup, I didn't know the U was stylized. Is it like that anywhere else? Is that the only place it's like that? That'd be kind of interesting. Oh no, it's right there. Title bar. Okay, just me not paying attention. Okay, so verbose we should test, especially because I did change that. This stuff is all web workflow. Timeout, that's web workflow. I don't really know what that means. Interesting. I don't really know what that does. I mean, I kind of like I have a guess on this one. If you like wanted to install the like version 8 MPY version of a library even though your device is on 9, then I guess you could pass CPY version 9 or 8, I guess. And that would override it, but like I can't think of a reason why you would want to do that. Nor can I really understand why you would need to pass the board ID in that case. So like board ID makes me think like maybe you have two devices plugged in. Like two different devices. Like I have a Feather S3 and a Itsy Bitsy. Like board ID maybe could say do this one. But I mean Path does that too actually. Yeah, and I said Path was web workflow, which is not actually true. Path, that would be targeting between two devices. Like if I had two plugged in, I could do Path, CircuitPy, or I could do Path, CircuitPy 1. Not sure about board ID. And I'm not really sure about version either. That guess that I threw out is really the best I got. So version we tested, help we are testing by doing this. Bundle stuff I have not ever messed with. I guess we should probably test that at some point. So install, list, uninstall, update I've done. So I have not done show, and I have not done freeze. I don't even know what Circup show does. That's just every library. Why would you want that? What did that say it did? Show a list of available modules in the bundle. That's kind of interesting that it says the bundles. I mean, the bundle. Should be maybe the bundles. Because I believe this is also, like this bit down here is all community bundle, I'm pretty sure. And it's like alphabetical. So once we get to A's up here, we're going to be back into that's Adafruit bundle. So we have Adafruit bundle, community bundle, and I presume if you had also added a bundle, that would be shown here as well. Interesting. I wonder if like a Circup search would be helpful. I mean, show is not, doesn't seem that helpful unless maybe if you also have grep or something, right? If you know you're looking for one. Anyway, seems to work. Freeze. Output details of all the modules found on the connected. I guess it's probably going to go on to say connected device. We could see more maybe with Circup freeze -- help. Output details of all modules found on the connected CircuitPython device. Option -R saves the output to requirements.txt. And so some of those are wrong just because I have like source code copies of libraries on my device instead of like release copies. That's actually expected, even though it's a bit weird. And then it sounds like we could do a requirements file if we don't want to do it here though, because there's already one. Is that gonna clobber my requirements file? I wonder if there's any guardrails on that. If not, we should probably add some, right? So if it does clobber it, it's checked into Git, so I can always just roll back. And actually, another thing we should do while we're doing this refactoring is go through these and figure out what's required. Because honestly, I think a bunch of these are not required. Like Jinja 2, I'm 99% sure it does not get used by this library, so I don't know why it's here. I think what happened here is somebody ran pip.freeze, speaking of the .freeze, and that outputted this list, and then it got saved into the repo, even though not all of it's needed. Like, what even is this? We need to take a brief detour to see what this is. How's it going, Axel, my friend? Manual board name override might be helpful for a new board port. Sure would need something like that for Arduino, especially for those stupid libraries like TFT eSpy that force you to put a setup file in the library folder. What is this? Okay. I mean, maybe that's used by tab completion or something. My guess is that's just not used, though. And there's just loads of these that are kind of like have no clear progress meter. Could be a progress meter somewhere. Is there? When you install, is there a progress? I mean, I don't even think there is there? Circup install. No, see, it's just installed when it's done. Doesn't even have a progress bar. That's like, I mean, if it was getting used, it'd be one thing, but I think a lot of these aren't used. Anyway, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. The first question was about clobbering. Circup freeze -R. Is that going to clobber my requirements file? Yes. Yes, it is. Okay. I think it should warn. I think it should warn if it finds one, right? It's like if you run it in another project like that, then you kind of just nuked your thing, potentially without meaning to. I'm going to undo that. We are going to go find freeze, and we're going to add a check for if that file exists. So right here with open, blah, 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 we will say something like, how do we want to do it? Do we want to give them a yes, no, or I don't actually know how to do that yes, no thing. Let's look in update. That did the yes, no stuff. Quick.confirm. And I guess that's going to translate the y or the n into a Boolean, I presume, because we're doing that there. Yeah, returns Boolean. Okay. There is a default as well, so let's default that to false when we use it for not clobbering requirements. Okay, so we want to say if this file exists, this is probably not the right way to create the path either. Can you check if a file exists? Isn't it os.exists? File exists? os.path.exists? Yeah, let's do, oh wait, we want that one, CWD. I think we don't need the slash if we do it that way. All right, so if that file exists, then click.confirm text default false. Text is requirements text file already exists. You want to overwrite it. Already exists in this directory. Do we need to say in this directory? Is that redundant? In this location? And I tend to like to be more specific. You know, I get kind of verbose sometimes. Okay, so okay, no, we don't want to. Yeah. Okay, so if that exists, then we do click confirm. So we're gonna say we're gonna say overwrite equals none, and then here we're gonna say overwrite equals that. And it's kind of redundant. Like, I could just default this to true, but I actually kind of prefer the code being explicit like this. So else, if that file does not exist, then we just set overwrite to true. I know it's the same. Like, I could put true here, and then I just don't need this whole branch. Maybe Pylint will even cry at me. I'm not sure, but I feel like this makes the code more explicit. Okay, so it also gives me a like actually defined null state where this is none. So like if I were to run this and overwrite was none somewhere, we could troubleshoot about why that is. Okay, and then with all of that, we can now go if overwrite, then we're going to do this. Shouldn't have done that. You know, I guess it doesn't matter. We're going to format it eventually, but okay. Let's see if that did it. So if we go freeze-r, found device, dump $stuff, and then we say requirements text file. Should we do yellow? Yellow is like a warning, right? Or should we do red even? I mean, I don't know if it feels like a red necessarily. I mean, you're about to delete a file, so like kind of. I don't know. Let's do red. Okay, so I don't know if we can do that actually though. Just says text as a string. I don't think we can do that. Okay, we could like click.seco before that, but we did like click.seco message. Here's what we could do is put this in red. This will also help break it up, maybe. I think a new line would not be a terrible thing either, if I'm honest. Exclamation point might be too far. Just do none for that, or no, I mean. Right. I think, is it what, color or FG maybe? No, color? Color. I don't know, red? I don't know how to choose red. FG equals red. Was FG, I was right the first time, okay. Equals, okay, what was that? Is that a string red? Closing twice distracted me. It is a string of red, and it's lowercase, actually, not shouty. Exclamation point's too far, but we should have a period, I think. So then we'll say yes, and then it can override it. Yeah. It's maybe too late now, but I wonder if it would not be... I mean, honestly, I think it would make more sense to not call this requirements.txt. Because of the fact that requirements.txt already exists and is a concept for pip, and because of the fact that these are not pip compatible names, means that we spit out a file with the same name as the pip tool that can't actually work in the pip tool. That's the only thing we did, I think. We fixed one more verbose also. Is that freeze or update? That style. That could actually maybe work in the confirm one. In which case there's back to no real need for two of them. See if that worked. I did a Q instead of a G. Nice. Okay, the only part that's not is that, but I think that's okay. Can't type in right anyway. Okay, let me put that back in. Yeah, thank you. And I do kind of like the extra line there, though, truthfully. So let's do that. Thank you. Okay. I think that's all of the update, uninstall, show list, install, freeze. Yeah, I haven't done any of the bundle stuff. Oh, it has org bundle too, okay. What is that? This is just a test or something? I don't remember adding this. Did I add it? Must have added it. This is like a clone of, or a fork of community bundle. Good enough technology. I'm guessing I just used this to test. Since they're on stuff. All right, let's test removing it. Circup, was it bundle remove? Circup bundle remove. What do I would need to specify something though. This. Yeah. Show. Nice. Okay. Let me to adding. I'm gonna add a different one. I don't know. I don't have any recollection of this. I don't necessarily want it to be added. My thing, if I don't really know what's in there, who made it or anything. Guessing that I just tested with it. I mean, it looks like a couple sensors. Like maybe this is run by Sensoron or somebody related to Sensoron or something. Because I noticed the two drivers were Sensoron and that was it. That was in there, but. Let me find, I believe Jeff now has a font bundle, right? I've been meaning to get that loaded up anyway. There we go. Bundle add Adafruit CircuitPython fonts. You only need to do this once. Oops. Oh, that's interesting. It gives you no output. Should we have error checking there? Circuit bundle remove. Also does nothing. I'm gonna make an issue for that as well, so I don't forget about it. I'll go fix it. Well, we could just fix it right now, I guess. Bundle add. So I assume that bundle would be the thing that's null if they don't pass anything. Bundle is none. It's false. It's an empty string, or it's empty parentheses. Is it a tuple, or is it literally a string of parentheses? Tuple, okay. So you could pass more than one, technically. So if they don't pass any in, we are going to click dot seco, which I guess is then styled echo. If click dot style is the thing that adds the color. Yeah, actually, why? I just like randomly copy pasted this, but like, I mean, that's basically the same error we want. I mean, is it? I mean, it's not invalid. It just didn't exist. Let's say, please pass bundle name argument, or like must pass bundle argument, comma, expecting GitHub URL or user/repository string. And then we should return after that, because we don't really need to do anything else. Technically, it's not going to matter because most of everything else is inside this for loop here, which won't happen because there will be 0 things, but I think it's most proper to return right here because we know that we're done. Makes the code a bit more clear. If bundle equals, you could do it that way. I think checking the length is more proper in my mind, just because checking for the empty tuple string is like type coercion. Basically, you're kind of like comparing it to a type it's not really. It will get represented that way, and it would, I believe, function the same. But in my mind, I think it makes more sense to check something that is the type it is. Like length will always be a number, so checking it against a number makes more sense to me, rather than checking a tuple against a string that happens to represent tuple in the default representation. If that makes sense. Okay, we should have the same thing with bundle remove. Reset. Okay, you can do reset to remove all local bundles. That's interesting. Okay, so actually in that case, we need to make sure that, like, if they pass bundle remove reset, then that should be allowed without any other bundles. But bundle remove nothing should not be allowed. So we'll say if reset. So we'll say else if not reset. Then we go if length of bundle is 0. You can basically print the same thing. One more thing we could add to bundle remove is run Circup bundle show. You see installed. You see a list of bundles. Let's pass bundle argument. Or or reset. Or reset. Must pass bundle argument or reset. Expecting GitHub URL or user/repository string. Space. Feels a little bad to have to add the space, but that's okay. Run Circup bundle show to see a list of bundles. Okay, and so like Circup bundle remove reset should work, but in my case it doesn't really do anything because I don't have any. But that's fine, I think. That one makes more sense to just like not do anything, basically. We told it to not do anything, effectively. I mean, I guess that's what we're doing with the blank ones, but I look at the blank ones as more of an error. Like we're not telling it to do nothing, we're giving it improper instructions. Whereas this one, our instructions are proper, they just lead to no outcome. That's awesome, just add a new trick to my bag, thank you. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so we should be able to do this with fonts, just like this thing says here. Circup bundle add Adafruit Circup, Adafruit CircuitPython fonts. There we go. While that's running, let me get a list of stuff that's in here that exists. Do not see it, so we just go inside. So I believe we can now install any of these. Oh, wait, these are TTFs though. We need the PCFs. Are those in a different folder? Or maybe they get converted live? Does that work? Font sizing, label, mono. Oh, interesting. Okay. I see. How do you find the names? I think these came from League of Movable Type. Be into fonts at a reuse license. Doesn't have an example of the install. That would be one thing that would be nice to add to the README here is an example of the install. I assume it's the same though, where it's like the library is this. Uh-oh. Okay, missing a... Okay, that's my refactoring. Let's get that fixed. Get bundle versions. I think we just need to pass logger. Actually have logger here though. Do we just have logger? We seem to have logger. That does not avoid download. There's data save. It's data load. This data load is missing a required argument of logger. Okay, so our problem though is that tags data load gets called by tags data save, which does not have the logger here either. Don't know if that's gonna work. Maybe that will work though. Bundle already in list. Interesting. I think that failed, but it might have failed after it actually succeeded. rest reset. There's maybe what that thing we saw before, that snowball thing, maybe is providing the capability to be able to give you those sort of fudged words like that. Just do up. Logger parameter needs to default to none. I think it needs to be passed more than it needs to default to none. But I wouldn't say that I'm like 1000% sure of that. Added. Nice. It's weird that added is like the first thing it prints. I guess you get okay at the end, so you get like some kind of confirmation it's done. I mean, realistically, it probably should just not get passed in, right? Or is that coming? Maybe that's because that's in a different place. Okay, that's in shared. I see. So logger does not exist as a variable in shared, I don't think. Is why it got passed in this way. Is it true though? As if it could just do logger inside of here. Okay, that doesn't exist inside of there. Okay. I think just pass it from here makes the most sense to my mind. Because there's already logic for like if you don't want to use it, it doesn't print or whatever. Sure. Although I don't see that actually, but I mean, you should always print, I guess, to the logs, right? At the very least. Yeah, which is what this is doing, is going to the logs instead of printing. So I shouldn't call it printing, really. All right, so bundle, add, remove, show, all working. Having a default of none would allow it to not fail horribly, but it won't. I mean, it's not going to fail horribly anymore. Someone decided to run this code without a login environment. You can't. Like, you would have to delete a file, and if you delete a file and then the code doesn't work anymore, like, you deleted a file. It's passed probably to prevent the shared code from assuming. No, I assure you it's not, because I added it to be passed there, and literally the reason I added it was to make the code run. Like, there was nothing more profound or thought out about whether it gets passed or anything else. It was like, when I sat down to do this before, I refactored a bunch of stuff, the code crashed, and then I added that as a pass-in to make it not crash. And it's not like, I don't know, there's no wider meaning to it or anything behind it. It could still be refactored further. I don't mean to say like that it could not be improved more. I would say like if you have strong feelings about it, like PRs are welcome after the refactor to refactor it further, but I happen to know, because I was the one that did it just the other day, what I was thinking when I did it, which was I just want to make this work. And the login is built into the Circup, so like if you wanted to change that or remove it, you'd have to do that explicitly, in which case this would stop working, and then it, the code could be changed to where like it could support that if you wanted to cut that out and have it still work. But for right now, that thing is part of the library. It exists, it's there, and it'll always be there. Unless someone deletes it. In which case they'll have to make some other changes too. But yeah, I mean, I would say like, feel free to submit further changes. Definitely. I am 100% pro more eyes and hands on Circup. Definitely improvements. There are certainly a lot of opportunities for improvements inside the code, I would say. I think this makes it better than it was, but I know, I have no illusions about it. I think there's still definitely lots of room for improvements still. All right, so this one was show error for bundle, add and bundle, remove without argue and then fix bundle add. Yeah, the way logger used to work, it was not passed as an argument at all. The way it used to work is it was just like a kind of a global thing. And like, because everything was all in one file pretty much, like that was cool. But now that's been refactored, it's not one file anymore. And so it can't just be like a global logging variable, logger variable thingy. And so then on that one function where it needed it, I passed it in because it seemed like the easiest way to get it in there in my mind. But I didn't change any logic around whether it's required or not or anything like that. It still should believe it is. I believe it was and remains a required thing. All right, let's try to clean up the requirements file here. How on earth are we gonna do that? I mean, can I see what I have installed in this virtual environment? I guess the way to do this is to take the virtual environment that we're in basically down to nothing, and then start running commands and installing libraries until it works. I mean, frankly, this looks like a list that's more reasonably probably what's required. 2 tomls is a little bit weird maybe, but I'm not sure. Maybe there's a reason those exist like that. Update checker, help. I mean, a lot of this stuff looks like it might actually be required. So what is the easiest way to do that? I guess what we're gonna do, I'm gonna make a new environment, which you do with I don't know if this is the right way. And I don't know how to give it a name. We're just gonna look it up. Python create. Just give. Okay, -m. I was on the right road. Okay, so vm, and then I'm gonna do other vm. Okay, so if I, and then did that, no. Still in vm. So I want to, I guess, deactivate this. Then // other bin activate. Okay. So this should be change here. Okay, so we actually it's weird that it doesn't see the one we like just created. Other view. Okay, it does there, I guess. Okay, there we go. So that is total bare bones env. So now what we do is just install the things we need to make it work. So one thing is, does this install stuff? So there's a list of stuff in here as well. So if I install it with -e, pip install -e dot, does that give me all of these? Okay, I'm gonna run to the restroom while that's running. Be right back. Can you do comments in a pip requirements file? Just had this thought. If you can do comments in here, that doesn't look like it. It's not recognized by the editor. If you could do comments in there, though, we could put one at the top of the file that says it was generated by Circup instead of pip. Looks like I searched this before. It's hashtag. It is hashtag whitespace. Interesting. So I would be in favor of maybe Circup freeze actually generating like a little header that says this is from Circup and not pip. That's how I expected to work with pip. That way there's no confusion. All right, this did succeed. And then if we look here, so we have a lot of stuff now. But it is just stuff that, it's basically everything that was in setup. I can't click back and forth, unfortunately. It's basically all of these, and then I presume everything that they depended on. And it did give us like newest versions, like we have 8.17 instead of 8.8.0. We have 1.44. Quest, we have 2.31. Find imports, we have 2.3 actually. That's interesting. I wonder why. So it says greater equals 2.10, but this says there is a 2.40 that it didn't find, or I mean that it didn't install, I should say. Toml is the same. Import lib. We don't. Just a comment says we don't need that one, and yeah, we didn't get it. So that's get update checker is there. That one has no version. Okay, so then everything else that's here must be a requirement of one of those. So I think this is our actual requirements. I'm going to leave out this one because I don't think we support 3.7 anymore. But if that's not the case, then we can undo that. I know with the rest of the libraries, though, we took away support for 1.7 with some other changes we made. Did I say 1.7? 3.7 of Python. Isn't there something that specifies version to use? I'm not sure what you mean. I mean, you can do versions here, like equals equals whatever, or you can do greater equals same thing. But I mean, I tend to prefer to be just putting this in here, and then like when it updates, deal with whatever fallout there is. And like, if it updates and it's completely broken and you can't fix it, then at that point add like a version specifier. But in my mind, I'm kind of on the at least try the newest one pretty much always, and then if there's a reason to fall back, then find it and fall back. But trying roughly to keep these in alphabetical order. So we're on F, we would go to requests, I'm thinking. S. Update checker. That is 5. That is 9 lines total, but one's commented out. Okay, we're missing one. Oh. Okay, one's commented out and one is also not used. So 7 lines total. Okay, so we're not missing one. I think that's supposed to have empty at the end of it, though. I was thinking of pre-commit config. Oh, yeah. Yeah, in pre-commit, you can tell it which version of those tools you want. That's true. You know what I messed with this week that I hadn't touched in a long time was Docker, and I was actually pleasantly surprised. I had a terrible experience with Docker the first time I used it, and I set it down for many years and never touched it again. But I touched it again this week, and it was actually kind of nice. I'm not gonna lie. I can see some upsides to it. Okay, I'm gonna test it by doing something. So I'm gonna say pip uninstall Circup. Is that gonna get rid of all the rest of that stuff? No. Is there like... It feels kind of bad, but okay. I'm gonna not do -y. I'm pretty sure -y is making it not prompt. Okay, try -y then. Okay. Apparently you have to do -y. Okay. I don't know how that got changed back, but okay. I guess because it lost its requirements, probably. Okay, fair enough. So what I want to try to do now is I want to run pip install -r requirements to get that to install all the dependencies. And then when I do pip install Circup, it should only install Circup. Nothing else. But not Circup, I want dot. And then I guess I'll actually do a -e2. Already satisfied, already. Bam. Balam. All right, perfect. It's Tim's sad face where he knows there's a problem and won't be a solution. It wasn't that bad. Yeah. It's not that bad. It just, it feels dangerous. This feels dangerous because it's like pipe the output of this into uninstalling stuff, which like, you know, I don't know, logically I can look at it and see what it's doing. It just feels dangerous to be piping output from one thing to an uninstall. Feels like it could spin out of control and just start uninstalling everything. I guess the answer to that would be do it more like this one down here, where it's like put it to a file and then uninstall from the file. That way you get a chance to look at it first. Probably would have been the safer way to do that. Okay. What's next? I think I'm kind of avoiding it, but it's probably time to start looking at the tests in the repo. So I know none of those are going to be passing, probably. Or let's say most of those are probably not going to be passing. Actually, one thing we should do before I get to there is web workflow. Is it enabled on this device? Almost just did something very silly. It should be enabled. That tells us that it is definitely enabled. I almost want to like unplug this from the computer. I'll be right back. I plug this into a battery instead of USB. Make sure it gets an IP. Yep, still has an IP, same IP as before. I'll kill TO here because that's not going to reconnect. So we would want to do... We want to go host and password we need to pass. So circup -- host, that's, I don't know if it needs to be HTTP or, remember. Try like that. Password. Don't tell anyone, please. Thank you. Install. Let's do show first. Yeah, I think that's probably wrong then, so maybe we need HTTP. Oh, actually it worked. Oh, show, that's the wrong command though. I don't want that. I want list. Oh, that's how we can find the name of our fonts. Oh, wow, there's a lot more packages. They all have different versions. They all have different sizes. Okay. Okay, so you could grep for font here, and that would give you all the fonts too. Nice. Okay. All right, that worked. Oh, I asked about this in the Discord the other day. I don't think I ever got any response. There was definitely a format change from 8 to 9, though, right? I'm just going to update that to say 8 to 9. Might crossment through major overhaul 8 to 9. Just going to commit, but not push for now. Okay, so Circup show, no, not show list. Now I'm like stuck on those backwards. Circup list worked. Circup, oh, that's interesting. The one we installed before doesn't know its version. So we can actually just go like this. Install Adafruit RSA. Oh, in safe mode. Internal watchdog timer expired. All right, well, I'm gonna reset. Yeah, I mean, it definitely did happen from 6 to 7. It definitely did back then. And then that's when this was first added. It just never got updated after that. I should change CodePy. Right now, CodePy is a fast loop of reading an analog pin. Maybe that's contributing to my problems. No, I wanted to edit that, actually. That's weird that this page, like, loads for a split second and then goes away. I wish it would keep, but I guess it has no way of knowing if it's the truth, though. I don't know. It'd be nice if it could keep the old version somehow. There's no control slash. I guess this is kind of silly. I should just use okay. All right. Now that is no longer just looping analog read in the background there, so maybe that will help with not ending up in safe mode. Came around in 7, had no clue what was happening during that transition, still trying to get an LED to blink. Yeah. I think, I want to say 6 to 7 might have been the first MPY one that I did as well, where they were different. And I kind of got in the habit of just using the Python ones for a while, which is another habit I got back into for this time around too. All right, now maybe we can do install. Yeah, we can. And that is perfect because these are one of the other things that I wanted to fix. It says, I think that's going to be 203. Typing extensions and ASN1 warning. Warnings, Windows. You see, I wonder if that uses RSA. Is it part of RSA? Honestly, I think we should just change the RSA to not have that. Or we should maybe make a new or like, I don't know. I feel like we should change Adafruit RSA to be microcontroller only. Right now it's like half of it only runs on CPython, which makes it not work on the microcontroller, which makes it a little bit weird. Like most libraries are not like that, where, you know, like half of the library's functionality just doesn't work on the microcontroller. Feels awkward. We could suppress warnings for those particular libraries, and it would be less surprising. I'll open an issue about that. Reopening, I'll just use this issue. Consider suppressing warnings for these. Has not been applied yet. Okay, that's where we're at. So we want to skip these ones specifically because we know that they will never... It will always warn about them. They'll never show up as successful. And there's nothing the user can do, and there's nothing the user needs to do. It's effectively like, it's not inaccurate. Everything it states in the warning is true. It's just not helpful. Where would that be coming from? Command utils -n 412 clickaroni. The error. Canonical lib name. Okay, so what we're gonna do is make a list of ignore warning ones. Warning ignore list. Does it need to say list? Warning ignore libraries? Modules, libs. Get it for Blinka RSA? Maybe. Yeah, I'm not sure. I guess it should work under Blinka. I think it's meant more for like straight up CPython on a PC though. But it should work on a Raspberry Pi. I don't see why not, but I haven't tried it. I did use it on the PC and it does work. It's just like, it's weird that half of it doesn't go on the microcontroller. And the imports are set up like this, where you see these import warnings for not having it, and then it's like super clear about whether it's needed or not, or what it's doing. Warning ignore modules. modules. Doesn't really need to be a list, I guess. It can be a tuple because we're not going to add to it at runtime. Okay, and then we'll say, let me just click this again. Except now my line numbers are different. That's fine, it's close enough. It's right here. So we'll just say key error. We'll say if canonical lib name not in warning ignore modules. So now if I go Circup uninstall Adafruit RSA, right, to do host and password, uninstall, okay, uninstalling, found device, uninstalled, okay, so now if we reinstall it, we should not see those warnings this time. What? Huh? Is it? Is it not a string, or does it have a space in it or something? Or is it even less fun and we're just like in the wrong environment, maybe? I mean, I did a pip install E here as well, so it should be using my modified one. Is the Billy Mays comment? Yep. Install. Huh. Did my copy paste bring over extra stuff? Okay, pi ASN1, I see that one. Okay, fair enough. Okay, dash instead of underscore. Fair enough, fair enough. All right, all right, all right. Probably that one as well. Not sure what library does that one, but... There we go, okay. Now we can take out our prints also. It's like 412-ish, I think that's where we were linking to earlier. When in doubt, print it out. Maybe it got stuck though. Just doing its thing. Fair enough. uninstall one more time and then install one more time. Make sure we get no printouts and no warnings. And then what else do we need to test? We've done, I guess we could try freeze through web workflow. We haven't done that yet. The only thing, I think there's not much else to test as far as functionality goes. Noticed a lot more the inability to control C out. I have not noticed that. In the REPL, I assume you mean, right? To break out of the code to get to the REPL? I know, like, I mean, I have run across that before, but not specifically that I can think of as far as, like, a rise with 9.0. But I mean, like, I definitely have been in that situation where it's doing something, and whatever it's doing is, like, not allowing my Control C to go through. Like, if I press Control C, then it will wait for, like, 10 seconds or whatever before it eventually finally notices. But I can't say as though that I have seen, like, a rise in that with 9.0 or even a lot of that lately, honestly. It's a thing that I have seen before, but couldn't tell you the last time necessarily. Okay, that worked. So that is, let's see, that's like ignore list for modules not to warn about. Oops. Try one of these ones. I don't think I actually installed anything from one of these local bundles, but let's make sure that works. If you look on the bright side, just say it's far more efficient. Run so fast. Can't Control C without adding time.sleep. There you go. I'm not sure if this, like, I mean, because we looked in the fonts folder and we just saw TFF files. I'm not sure if it builds this font into a PCF at install time or at the time when you ran bundle add, or if it's like a GitHub Actions that does it and checks it into a different branch or something, maybe. I'm not clear on when it actually takes those TTF files and turns them into PCFs. Looks like it works though. All right, Circup help. Did we miss anything? I think we got everything, honestly. Oops. Yeah, so uninstall. I haven't done update through the workflow yet. Let's do that. Update. But I did freeze, install, list, uninstall. So then update, that's the last one. Show doesn't actually interact with the device at all. I don't think. I think it's showing the bundles, not the device. So we'll just say maybe no to a couple of these. We had 9, it says. Yeah, let's do NTP. Why not? That font, I'll skip. Skip all the rest of these. One thing I haven't done is -p. I mean I'm going to uninstall RSA again, then do a install --py. It shouldn't be any difference, but I mean, you know, Python versus MPY, obviously, but shouldn't cause any trouble, I should say. Only something we should check, though. This is where that progress bar would be kind of nice. All right, I'm going to run through the stream again then. 3. Uh-oh. It's still just stuck there. That's not good. I guess we should have... I don't really know why that would still be stuck so long. I mean, the help said there was a timeout. That the default was something like 30? It must have been not stuck on a request, though. Because the 30-second timeout was a thing that I added to the requests. Well, and it defaults to 30. You can change it with timeout. That's weird, though. I don't know where else it could get stuck. Okay. --pi appears to have worked. Let's double check it. The old web workflow. RSA should be a .py file, or inside of here. Yep, .py, not mpy. Perfect. All right. I think that's all of the like kind of functional testing. So let's run pre-commit. For some reason pre-commit is acting on the virtual environment. Solid. I should probably just delete that fake device, but move it somewhere else maybe. Okay. All of those are fine though. That's idea, which is not checked in. That's temp file, which is not used. I just created it to paste something into at some point. It's not checked in either. Oh, what's going on with all that stuff though? And then fake device is also not checked in, so. Okay, so a bunch of these are import order. It's unfortunate. We are looking at using rough or whatever on some of the libraries. I don't know how to run it though. Just run rough, is that a thing I can use for this? I probably shouldn't. I don't really know how to use it. I don't want it to I don't want it to format either. If I could run it to just, if I could run it manually to just update the imports, I would probably do that, but oops. Rather use point and click than CLI? Depends on what it is. Some things I want to point and click, some things I want to CLI. You see the other playground I wrote a Windows pre-commit. You know, run it with a single mouse click instead of CLI. I did not see that. Request had rough built in. Yeah, request got changed before. Wait, no, it doesn't. It doesn't have rough. I mean, there's a PR with it, but not. I don't think it's merged, to the best of my knowledge. But what is in request, which is not in the others right now, is isort, which we started talking about isort. It got merged there before anywhere else, and then we had that conversation. And then we started looking at rough. But I believe isort's what's actually checked in, which is not rough yet. Standard import RE should be before TOML. I don't know. Why though? Like, why is that? Does that? I'm not sure. I mean, other than the fact that it makes Pylint fail, like, why should that be in that order? Maybe there's rationale somewhere. I guess we could just use a real line. Medical pull the beta. Yeah, if you got the PR one, then it will have rough. There's, I think, requests, and there's a handful of other repos that have the PRs open. Yeah, is that used? Yeah. But it's on context. We should get it off of context, I think. Also, I'm gonna be making a request to the. Oh, it's not to the device though. It's to like the internet. Yeah. And we should still have context, I'm pretty sure. So I think we can just do this. I was wrong. How do we get context? Passed in and that one. bundle. Why does this one get the context? Pass context. Seems like it might have something to do with it. So if I just put this here, then put this here. Yeah. Uncle. Let's make sure this is not like null or something. OPR submitted. I gave rough and connection manager a bunch of testing. Nice. Okay. Oops. Yeah, that works. Okay, so we can do that instead of the global timeout, which helps us get rid of another global usage, which is nice. I am just going to get rid of that. Okay, CPY version. So instead of using CPY version, we should be using this. We already have this. I mean, we are using this, I guess. Can we just make this not global? What does this actually say? Global variable undefined at the module level. I mean, I think that's telling us that like there is not a global one, even though this is saying global. I think I got rid of the global one, so it's gone. That's kind of what that's telling us inside main. Found device running. So let's make sure that works. I think Pilot's mad at the name. Because it's no longer global. Okay, yeah, we got the version. This is a thing that should get saved onto context, really. The only place this is used is here. Because everywhere else is having to check sys.argv. So what we could have done, I guess, is put that on context, and then everywhere else could be checking the context. As long as they actually got a context. We'd have to be doing that past context thing. Maybe I'll put it there anyway. Anticipation of potentially doing that. Alright. Makes the code more ambiguous, in my opinion, though. Import time, wrong order. Time should be before click. Just put click at the end. It's probably going to want requests at the end. Is RE built in? I think that's built in, right? JSON should be before package. Okay. We are down to only errors in the tests. A lot of these are stuff that got moved. So I guess one question is, would we want to add it back here? Because, like, theoretically, we could just be doing, like, from all these other things, import, and then everything will exist here, and the test will be able to use it. So, for instance, module, which is the first one we saw, we could just say import. Then all of these ones would not be an error anymore. It's a hypothesis at this point. Yeah, appears to be true though. Okay. So basically we could import all that stuff back into here. But is that wrong? Is it more correct to not do that and instead go inside the test file and change where it gets imported from, basically? Thank you for showing how to get a lot of Pylon errors too. Pylon has been testing my patience lately. Yeah, I mean, that's Pylon's job, is to test everybody's patience, so I can definitely relate to you there. I guess it's probably more proper to not do this, right? It's probably more proper to not do it as much as I'd like to, because it makes it a lot easier. Where are those test files even at? There it is. Ooh, no, actually, hold on. Just click. There's no more like that. Yeah, let me run it again, I guess. I mean, I'm tempted to just like not do that, right? And then we can just import module. This module's in its own thing now. I mean, this is importing two things already. That. And if we find circup.module, we replace that with just module. Wait, were those failing? Okay, just for a split second they were, but then they fixed themselves. Yeah, see the yellow I saw there. Okay, that should fix all the module ones. Circup has no find device. So find device, that one is, I don't know where that's at now actually. Git grep -n find device. Parenthesis open, but we need quotes, I'm pretty sure. Def, that's in command utils. I think we just, I don't know, I'm kind of I kind of prefer this, I guess, is just importing up here the full name instead of doing the dot stuff down there. Second, I blanked on the name. Okay, find device. Probably have to pick, I have to fix that in more places than just one, yeah. In fact, why don't we just do this again, right? Whoops. Okay. That was the grep, not the pre-commit. This is another place where I added logger. I don't think it's a, it'd just be like this, but we do need to import it. Which would be the same thing that's done in the rest of the code now. Circup has no ensure latest bundle. So where's that? Git grep -n ensure latest. Let's do def. Command utils also. Ensure latest bundle. Hey, why was there another? Oh, that was find modules. We're probably gonna have to change that one next, but whatever. Ooh, this is interesting. Okay. Maybe that's one reason why it would need to be on Circup, but I... I think it will work if we just remove this. Can't say as though I'm very, I don't have a lot of experience with that mock stuff, so maybe I'm wrong, but... Getting close. Git bundle platforms, git bundle. All right, so where is platforms? Does that exist anywhere? Shared. Okay, so platforms from shared. What was the other one? Git device? No, git bundle. Git bundle. It's probably def git bundle. So it's probably in command utils. Command utils git bundle, and then shared. The other one. Git bundle. Platforms is the other one. Shared for platforms. Circup shared import platforms. Oh, I didn't change any of the usages. One has a lot of usages actually, but that's git bundle versions, which is different. Ooh, that's git bundles list, which is also different. Why did those not show up? Because they're in the mock versions. Git bundles. So why does this one show up actually though? Bundles. Does that exist? Does command utils. Huh. I don't know why that one's working like that. I'm gonna change it to be like this. Wait, but that's okay, just because I haven't done the import yet. And what? Why is this gray? There was something using it earlier. So it made pre-commit fail. Comparing against callable? Did you omit parentheses? Oh, shoot. Yeah, I sure did. I should be calling this. Okay, that might be the only place where it was like that. Nope, there's one. Actually, there must be 3. Circup has no platforms. Oh, I see. Has no git bundle. Unused. 2 of those cross each other out, huh? All right. We passed Pylint. Reuse says it fails because of all these files that aren't checked in, but they're not checked in, so they're not actually going to fail for real. So I think I am going to push here. Code format and Pylint fixes, changes, fixes, we'll just say fixes. I don't know if it will pass the tests. I did not actually run the tests, so they may still fail. I mean, it should succeed theoretically if my refactoring is correct, but I forgot how to run the tests, honestly. And then you can't see because this goes to just like another repo, pretty much. Out. Let's release. We don't want to release. We want to build anyway. Let's see. CircuitPython libs. Build docs. How does it work? Is it in here? What gets called when it calls build? Run local actions? That sounds like be it, would it? I will say one thing that's nice about the centralized thing is it's like it's easier to update. There's only one place to update, but one thing that I do find a little bit difficult / frustrating is it makes it hard to find out what's happening. I just want to know what is going to happen. The actions run, like what commands run. And this, now we're like 3 levels deep in here, and I still don't really see anywhere where the actual commands are at. I guess is it? I mean, is it? It must be that shell script. This says checkout, action CI, setup Python, touch requirements. Just says install. Does install also run? Ah, it's just installing. I don't know. Anyway, this finished now, so we can check on this side. But yeah, if anybody knows how to find out like what commands get run. See, like here, this is telling us. Like this is basically the command I was looking for. Let's see how many fail. I'm not going to fix all these right now, but PyTest command not found. Python 3.7. All right. Well, I have broken something deeper than I thought. I was gonna run the test and see which tests were failing, if it was all of them or just one of them or what. But it's not that some of the tests are failing, it's that it can't actually find PyTest for some reason. I don't really know why that would be. Maybe did that used to be? Okay, I have one guess. Did that used to be inside of requirements? That's probably it, actually. That's probably it. Yeah. Okay. We need to put PyTest back. I mean, that's weird though, right? Because it's not required to use the library. Yeah, I don't know the proper place to put it. It feels weird to have that in requirements, though, honestly, because it shouldn't, like, if a person just wants to use Circup, then they don't need it. So it's like, I feel like requirements should be the things you need if you want to use the library. But maybe that feeling of mine is wrong. And anyway, because it's listed in CircuitPy, they get taken from there, so in fact it does that. Anyway, or pre-commit in my local copy, pre-commit will run. Yeah. Pre-commit. Well, pre-commit doesn't run the test though. Yeah, pre-commit doesn't run the test. Otherwise, it would show up when I did pre-commit run. That'd be nice. I would like that to be. I don't know if that's a thing that can happen, but I would find that convenient. Honestly, I think if we could put the docs build into pre-commit, I think that would also be convenient. I would like it if pre-commit did every check that actions was going to do. That way, when you run local, you only have one command. They just keep running over and over until it succeeds. But like right now, you got to run pre-commit over and over until it succeeds, and then run the docs build over and over until it succeeds. And then this library has tests, which a lot of them do not have tests, but this one does. Therefore, you also need to run the tests over and over again until they succeed. But if pre-commit would do tests and docs build, then it'd be a lot easier for sure. Anyway, though, I think this is a problem for a future Tim, so I am going to cut it off now, cut it off there for now. Thank you to everyone for hanging out. Thanks to all the folks in the chat. I hope everyone has a good rest of your day and a good weekend and all that stuff. I will, yeah, I think I should be back next week at the normal time on Saturday, 10 a.m. Central Time, so I will catch you then if you're interested. Otherwise, have a good week, and so long for now. Thanks for watching.